Okay, let's talk about fruit. Should you eat your apple before your meal or save it for after? It's a question that sparks these huge debates online, with some pretty wild warnings about everything from losing nutrients to, well, food literally rotting in your stomach. So, let's get into it.
So, what is the right answer? I mean, is there even one right answer? You've probably heard all the conflicting advice. Some people will swear you have to eat fruit on a totally empty stomach, while others treat it like dessert. It's honestly one of the most common bits of nutritional confusion out there.
But today, we are going to cut through all that noise. We're going to separate the myths that just won't die from the actual medical facts. And we'll do it by looking at some really fascinating research that helps us build a clear, strategic guide.
All right, first things first. Let's just tackle the biggest myths head on. These are those scary stories you've probably seen floating around on the internet. And honestly, it is time to set the record straight. So here's the most dramatic myth of them all. The idea that eating fruit with other food makes it just sit there and rot. But the fact is, your stomach is an incredibly hostile environment. I mean, it is filled with hydrochloric acid, which basically sterilizes your food. In that super acidic environment, fermentation, rotting, it's just physically impossible. It can't happen.
And the second big myth? That you lose out on all the good stuff, the nutrients, if you mix fruit with other foods. But come on, our bodies are way smarter than that. Your digestive system is an absolute powerhouse. Just your small intestine alone is nearly 6 meters long. That gives your body a massive area to absorb all those vitamins and minerals from your fruit, no matter what else is along for the ride.
Okay, so we've totally busted the most common myths. They are just not true. But wait, that's not the end of the story, because even though timing isn't about food rotting or nutrients being wasted, science is now showing us that it can be used as a pretty strategic tool. And to really understand how, we're going to look at this brilliant little study that put this exact question to the test. And trust me, this is where it gets really interesting.
So back in 2022, Japanese researchers designed this simple but really elegant experiment. They got a group of people who had impaired glucose tolerance and gave them a simple meal, white rice and an apple. The only thing they changed was the order. One group ate the apple before the rice, and the other group ate the apple after.
And the results? Wow, they were fascinating. Just look at this data. The group that ate the rice first saw their blood sugar peak at 90. But the group that had the apple first? Their peak was way lower, at just 75.2. That is a huge difference just from one simple change in the order of eating. The researchers basically concluded that this tiny change could be a really powerful tool. Eating that apple before a meal full of carbs can help manage the glycemic response, which is just a fancy way of saying it helps prevent that big blood sugar spike you'd normally get.
So let's take this cool science and turn it into a practical guide that you can actually use. Because this strategy goes way beyond just blood sugar management, and you can tailor it to what you're trying to achieve with your health.
The key takeaway here is not that there's one right time to eat fruit for every single person. Not at all. Instead, think of timing as this flexible tool in your nutritional toolkit, one that you can pull out and use to your advantage depending on what your goal is.
Okay, so let's say your goal is weight management. Well, the science points to one clear strategy. Eat your fruit before your meal. If you choose high-fiber fruits like an apple or a guava, that fiber starts to make you feel full. And when you feel fuller, you might just naturally eat fewer calories during your main course. Pretty simple, right? But what if your goal is to help with digestion? Well, in that case, you flip the script. Eating fruit after your meal is the way to go. Certain fruits, I'm talking about pineapple, papaya, and kiwi, are packed with these amazing natural digestive enzymes that can help your body break down the meal you just ate. And check this out. Here's another great post-meal strategy. Say you've had a big, high-fat or high-calorie meal. Finishing it off with some antioxidant-rich fruit is a really smart move. The flavonoids and stuff like berries and oranges act like little scavengers, helping to neutralize some of the oxidative stress and inflammation that a more indulgent meal can create.
So, after busting the myths and digging into the science, what does all of this actually mean for you in your everyday life? Let's bring it all together into one super clear takeaway. So here's the most important point of all. For the vast majority of healthy people, the absolute best time to eat fruit is anytime you'll actually eat it. Seriously, being consistent and just getting those incredible nutrients into your diet is so much more important than stressing about the clock.
Ultimately, this is all about empowerment, not anxiety. Don't let all those old myths about timing stop you from enjoying fruit. Instead, see timing for exactly what it is, a powerful tool you can choose to use to fine-tune things for specific goals, whether that's managing your blood sugar, your weight, or your digestion.
So the question is no longer, when should I eat fruit? The real question is, how can I use fruit to my advantage? Now that you have the facts, you get to decide. So, what's your personal fruit strategy going to be?
Fruit before your meal or after? It's a huge debate. And you know what? The answer might surprise you.
So a lot of people say you should eat fruit after a meal. Let's dig in and see if it's true.
Okay, first up, the case for eating fruit when you're done. And yeah, there are some pretty good reasons.
For one, some fruits can really help with digestion. Plus, their fiber can help stop those nasty sugar spikes.
And if you've had a, let's say, less than healthy meal, the antioxidants in fruit can help your body recover. But, hold on, what if eating fruit before your meal is actually the better move? Let's look at that.
So you can see the benefits are totally different. Before is about feeling full. After is about damage control.
Eating fruit first is a great trick for weight management. That fiber makes you feel full, so you eat less. And get this, that same fiber can actually lower your meal's entire impact on your blood sugar. Pretty cool, right?
So a recent study actually tested this. They used apples and white rice, a classic sugar spiker.
And they looked at a group with some trouble handling sugar to really see what would happen.
Okay, so when they ate the rice first, boom, that's how much their blood sugar spiked.
But check this out. When they ate the apple first, look at that drop. A massive difference.
This really shows how having that apple first can help you dodge that awful post-meal crash. Okay, so since there are good arguments for both sides, a lot of myths have started. Let's clear some up.
You've probably heard this one, right? That fruit just sits there and rots in your stomach.
Yeah, that's a total myth. Your stomach acid is way too strong for anything to ferment down there.
Okay, how about this one? That you won't get the nutrients if you eat fruit with a meal.
Nope. Your digestive system is a 6-meter-long powerhouse. It knows how to get the good stuff out. So what's the bottom line? Well, it really just comes down to you and your own health goals.
Let's break it down. Trying to lose weight? Eat fruit before. For better digestion, eat it after.
And if you're eating fruit before your meal, go for high-fiber stuff like apples to get the biggest bang.
So now that you know the science, what's it going to be? The real answer is to experiment and see what works.